She don't come
Welcome
on.
to the In the Beginning Incubator webinar. We're thrilled to have you join us for this special event where we celebrate the journeys of ambitious entrepreneurs who have turned their visions into reality. Join us every Tuesday as we spotlight incredible clients who have navigated the entrepreneurial landscape and emerged victorious. Each session is more than just a conversation. It's an opportunity to learn firsthand from business owners who have faced challenges, embraced innovation, and achieved remarkable success. Whether you're launching a startup, scaling your business, or refining your strategy, these webinars will provide you with practical advice and real-world knowledge to guide your path forward. Stay engaged and get ready to ignite your entrepreneurial spirit. This is your chance to connect, learn, and grow with a community of like-minded visionaries. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our host for this powerful series, Mr. Christian Johnson, the Chief Strategist Officer of In the Beginning Incubator. As a seasoned business strategist and mentor, Mr. Johnson has played a pivotal role in guiding entrepreneurs through the complexities of business ownership. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Christian Johnson. Welcome to the In the Beginning Incubator webinar. We're thrilled to have you join us for this special event where we celebrate the journeys of ambitious entrepreneurs who have turned their visions into reality. Join us every Tuesday as we spotlight incredible clients who have navigated the entrepreneurial landscape and emerged victorious. Each session is more than just a conversation. It's an opportunity to learn firsthand from business owners who have faced challenges.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sharnae Johnson. I'm the COO of In the Beginning. I'm not?
No, and it doesn't start till 7 o'clock.
Oh, what time is it? Because the thing be saying.
Why are you on? It's supposed to look. Oh my God.
Why did you even say anything? And you should have just let me talk.
Welcome to the In the Beginning Incubator webinar. We're thrilled to have you join us for this special event where we celebrate the journeys of ambitious entrepreneurs who have turned their visions into reality. Join us every Tuesday as we spotlight incredible clients who have navigated the entrepreneurial landscape and emerged victorious. Each session is more than just a conversation. It's an opportunity to learn firsthand from business owners who have faced challenges, embraced innovation, and achieved remarkable success. Whether you're launching a startup, scaling your business, or refining your strategy, these webinars will provide you with practical advice and real-world knowledge to guide your path forward. Stay engaged and get ready to ignite your entrepreneurial spirit. This is your chance to connect, learn, and grow with a community of like-minded visionaries. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our host for this powerful series, Mr. Christian Johnson, the Chief Strategist Officer of In the Beginning Incubator. As a seasoned business strategist and mentor, Mr. Johnson has played a pivotal role in guiding entrepreneurs through the complexities of business ownership. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Christian Johnson. Welcome to the In the Beginning Incubator webinar. We're thrilled to have you join us for this special event where we celebrate the journeys of ambitious entrepreneurs who have turned their visions into reality. Join us every Tuesday as we spotlight incredible clients who have navigated the entrepreneurial landscape and emerged victorious. Each session is more than just a conversation. It's an opportunity to learn firsthand from business owners who have faced challenges, embraced innovation, and achieved remarkable success. Whether you're launching a startup, scaling your business, or refining your strategy, these webinars will provide you with practical advice and real-world knowledge to guide your path forward. Stay engaged and get ready to ignite your entrepreneurial spirit. This is your chance to connect, learn, and grow with a community of like-minded visionaries. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our host for this powerful series, Mr. Christian Johnson, the Chief Strategist Officer of In the Beginning Incubator. As a seasoned business strategist and mentor, Mr. Johnson has played a pivotal role in guiding entrepreneurs through the complexities of business ownership. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Christian Johnson. Welcome to the In the Beginning Incubator webinar. We're thrilled to have you join us for this special event where we celebrate the journeys of ambitious entrepreneurs who have turned their visions into reality. Join us every Tuesday as we spotlight incredible clients who have navigated the entrepreneurial landscape and emerged victorious. Each session is more than just a conversation. It's an opportunity to learn firsthand from business owners who have faced challenges, embraced innovation, and achieved remarkable success. Whether you're launching a startup, scaling your business, or refining your strategy, these webinars will provide you with practical advice and real-world knowledge to guide your path forward. Stay engaged and get ready to ignite your entrepreneurial spirit. This is your chance to connect, learn, and grow with a community of like-minded visionaries. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our host for this powerful series, Mr. Christian Johnson, the Chief Strategist Officer of In the Beginning Incubator. As a seasoned business strategist and mentor, Mr. Johnson has played a pivotal role in guiding entrepreneurs through the complexities of business ownership. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Christian Johnson.
Hello, everyone. This is Evelyn Johnson here. I'm not Christian Johnson today. I'm only on for a few minutes. I don't get worried. Christian is coming. He's on his way. He'll be here momentarily. I'm trying to get everything set up and get everything ready for you guys. We have a special guest tonight, Miss Shay from our Oklahoma family. I don't want to say her name incorrectly, so I'm going to allow her to say her last name because we always talk, and I realized just this moment I never say her entire whole last name, and so I'm getting the ETA time here information that Christian is literally 4 minutes away. So I'm going to welcome Shay in right now, and let me make sure I'm doing something right and get it done. Sharnae is telling me. Okay, I think we're adding Shay in now. Shay, here you go. We see you with Impact to Imprint Mental Health Wellness. I don't want to take away from too much of Christian shine, and I want everyone to know what's going on. I'm not only a proud mama, I'm a proud mama today because as you all know, we did a business pitch in the last 2-3 weeks, and one of our incubators actually won, Mr. David Vine. And he was interviewed when we first started doing these Tuesday night spotlights. He was interviewed probably about 3 or 4 months ago. And I'm pretty sure Christian will probably bring him back in. But he won the contest. And he won for Your Surface, My Purpose power washing business. And so today, he used his $1,000, and he said today so proudly in down near Charlotte, North Carolina. He went on down, him and Christian, to do a actual expansion of his business into the space of he's going to do power washing, but he's going to do it from a space also of doing it personalized, the hand and all of that with the wand. But he's also expanding into the drone space where he can do 3 and 4 level buildings, which is a big piece of this puzzle for him, that he's introducing something new into the Virginia market. And so I'm so proud because the first thing when he got to North Carolina, Christian called me. He said, and I'll just say it the way Christian said it, Ma, you would be really proud. He talked about his mentor, Mr. Sam, to the individuals because they're actually trying to bring him in to start a franchise business with the drone power washing process. And so it was very, very new to both of them. But not really that new to Christian, but very, very new to Mr. Vines because they had competitors there, and they actually had investors there that wanted to invest with him and all of the information. So it was just the most amazing day for me as the CEO of this incubator. And I just wanted to take time out and say that because every step that he's taken is working. He did the 12-week Entrepreneur Academy. He does all of the webinars. He does everything to make his business successful. And Christian said today when they were down there, he told the individuals that he was meeting with, and it was a conference. So it was a lot of people that came in from across the country to actually see this process. And so what they actually said and what Mr. Vines actually elaborated on in his information that he was sharing with individuals that was there. Christian is his business consultant. That's exactly who Christian is. Christian is here to walk him through and to get the information just like he's getting it, and then help him decide how he's going to move forward and when he's going to move forward. And he said that, so he articulated the process. He said, my mentor told me to do this. I came with notes. My coach, this is Christian also, and my consultant, he had me doing this, and he came with me to walk through this with me because it's new. And let me say this. These are new. These are people who are coming from very marginalized communities. And when I say marginalized, we focus on individuals with disabilities. We focus on returning citizen individuals, Black women, the Latin community, women, individuals with, and the Native American community. Most communities that are left out of the full process of the business ecosystem, they may get one piece of the puzzle, but they don't get all of the pieces of the puzzle. And they may not get access to the capital like some other individuals do. And so for him to use this program and to make it equal to what those programs do and what they offer, because we're not an accelerator, we're probably a competitor to an accelerator. We don't do that. We don't operate in that space because we don't care how long it takes. We're not going to put you on an 8 to 12 to 14 to 16 week process and say, we want to get you there and get it done in this little bit of time, because we know it takes more than that time. We're committed to your business from the first inception, the middle inception, till 5 years in. That's our commitment. So I think I'm kind of hearing stuff. I hear people running out the house. I think Christian is coming in. And I want you all to know I'm very happy about that. Shay, I'm happy because this is not my space. It used to be. This used to be what I used to do, but Christian does this so much better. And you all talk often. Everybody that has been on, we are personal with this. So I'm not saying, because when Shay and I did the initial let's check in earlier, we were getting ready to do a whole coaching call because she was getting ready to tell me what we did this, and I met with this one, and I said nope. Our coaching call is tomorrow. Let's just save it for tomorrow because I want to hear all of that tomorrow because we have stuff going on. Shay will be here. I'm so proud. Shay will be here meeting with her mentor, Miss Otessa Williams, next week here in Virginia when ITB will be in Oklahoma. So we're really proud about everything. And I do see Mr. Christian coming in, and he is getting ready to step in and step on. And Shay, I don't know if I can hear you or not. Can you just say something so we can hear you?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. And I can hear you. So everyone, with no further ado, walking in from his trip to Charlotte for the day. He rode down there. He left here at 5 o'clock in the morning, and he is back now. We're not going to let him be all baked out and sad. He's going to be ready. And so here we go. Here's Mr. Christian Johnson, and he will interview and have a conversation with Miss Shay from Oklahoma City. I'm really tired. If you get caught, there's some questions you got.
Good morning, Vietnam. No, I'm just hello. I'm here. I literally just came in from Charlotte with one of our other clients. Okay, everything is good. So, all right, Miss Shay, how have you been?
I've been wonderful. How about you? Outside of being tired from doing a road trip, how have you been?
Good, busy, and just busy and working, doing what I'm doing.
Understood.
Yep. So, all right, Miss Shay, let us get started. Let me get my thoughts together so I can have all my goings on going. So, usually what we start off with, and usually how I start the webinar off, is I first introduce myself, and everybody knows who I am, and I introduce our clients. So I don't know if Ms. Johnson had introduced you yet, or your business, and so I'm gonna let you introduce your business and introduce what you do, and then we'll go from there. So please tell us who you are and tell us about your business.
Well, first of all, thank you all for highlighting my business this evening. I really appreciate that. My name is Shay Omakomian. I am a licensed mental health therapist here in Oklahoma City. I am the owner and founder of Impact to Imprint Mental Health Wellness, a mental health wellness private practice. I like to say that we are purpose-driven mental health. We not only want to help people understand the challenges and ailments that they face in their own life, but we want them to birth something out of that, which is their purpose, and something that can continue to help them with their well-being as they continue and journey on their respective paths.
So, Miss Shay, how did we first meet? Last week, I know we had Miss Dr. Cunningham. We had our team from Langston and our team from the Urban League on last week, and they talked about our partnership together and kind of talked about the history and how it's come along and how it's changed over time. But tell us about how you found out about ITB and the first time you heard about us in the program that you are in with Langston.
Yes, well, thank you. Well, outside of owning my own private practice, I am a community outreach manager for a local program / organization here in the city, and that allows me to network and connect with other different programs and organizations. So I was actually attending an event, and there was a speaker from Urban League that was speaking about all the different programs that they had available at that time. And one of those things happened to be ITB. I met the requirements for those things and I applied, and thankfully I was able to be accepted into the program. And I'm also a proud Langston alum. I received my master's in rehabilitation counseling from Langston University in 2017. And so Langston is just near and dear to me. I have a daughter that is actually graduating in literally a month from now, and she will also be attending Dear Langston.
That's good to hear, and congratulations to your daughter. Does she know? Is she going to be going in the same field as you in mental health?
No, she doesn't want to do that, but she definitely want to be in the helping field. Her goal is to become an OGBYN.
Oh, okay, that's actually really good. That's really
good.
We especially need more Black women in the field.
Absolutely.
Especially when it comes to birth and maternal health. So that is good, and that's nice to hear. And again, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, all right, Miss Shay, that was the introduction, and we got through the introduction phase. So let's go into next. The next thing. Usually, how I do it is you talk about how we work with you and the services that you've received from in the beginning, and the coaching and the mentoring and everything that you've received from in the beginning. And again, you're our first client from Oklahoma. Okay. So I always think it's last week it was our partners, but this week you're the first client. So the perspective is going to be different, I'm sure. And I think when you talk, people will be able to hear the perspective differences. But tell us about the services that you've gotten from us and how we've worked with you thus far.
Yes. So I've received business plans that was created by Ms. Johnson. You and I worked together to get my website up. We've also worked on some marketing things as well, like flyers, logos, those different type of things. I've also been connected with Miss Otessa as a mentor, and she and I have been able to start our rapport building. And like Ms. Johnson mentioned earlier, while the team will be down here in Oklahoma City, I will actually be attending the National Black Counselors Conference that will be held in Richmond, Virginia. And while I'm there, I will be connecting with Miss Otessa, and we'll be having lunch or dinner, whatever the schedule allows. And that is the bulk of what the services I've been able to receive thus far. If I've left off something, let me know.
I'm not sure. I think that's most everything. I think there was one other thing. I think there was a pitch. I think you were also part of a different program, the
Mm-hmm.
an accelerator, and
Yeah.
I think Miss Johnson might have helped you with your pitch as well.
We definitely had some discussions around the pitch. Yeah, around that time of the accelerator. Just because of the different, because that was also during the time you were doing the entrepreneurship academy
Mhm.
on you all's end. So definitely we connected. I don't think we connected as much as we wanted to, given the time difference, and I'm not able to physically show up
Yeah,
and come to the office.
yeah, and I understand that it is. It has been some times where it's been difficult with that time difference and that hour difference. But we persevere and we get over it and we get through it. And I think we've all gotten into the habit to make sure we say when we say our time, we also put your time Central Standard Time. I know I've tried to do that more,
Mhm.
so we don't have any miscommunication. So I'm sorry, my dog is going crazy. Oh, people outside talking, but let's get into your business and impact to Imprint.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit more about your background in therapy and your history. I know you said that you went to school at Langston and
Mhm.
you studied mental health. So give us a little bit more of a background of your uh, therapist history.
Yes. So I think I was always I feel like it chose me. I didn't choose it. I thought I was gonna be a lawyer or something of that sort, but this is the path that I'm on, and I'm very blessed to do the work that I do. So I have two associates, a psychology associates and a sociology associates. I also have I received my bachelor's in psychology from the University of Central Oklahoma here in Oklahoma City. And then, of course, I went on to Langston. And once I completed that, I sat for my licensure and I became a nationally certified mental health therapist. Through that work, I've done so many different things. So the bulk and the scope of my work uh, is youth and families. I've spent I would say, the majority of my career working with youth, and so that was for about 6 years. I did home based therapy. I also had a program that I did psychoeducation development with uh, youth that were for lack of better words, incarcerated through our Oklahoma Juvenile Bureau program there. I also partner with schools. I currently have a program in the school now, so working with high schoolers as they transition into adulthood. That's another part of my job, is that I work in the workforce development, job readiness arena. So really understanding that how mental health impacts our ability to show up for ourselves in our jobs, and vice versa, how the lack of those things, or not really knowing how to navigate that arena, impacts our mental health and the way that we're able to function. So it's really taking all of those things that I see happening in my community and understanding how it impacts communities abroad, Oklahoma City. And so that's what I do. My business is broke up into a few different services. I have it's the holistic wellness and the therapy and coaching. I like to think of myself as a therapeutic coach. What does that mean? I definitely am believe in the here and now. It's really great to make sure that we honor the therapeutic frameworks that help us understand ourselves and help us navigate very difficult, complex feelings. But it's also understanding like the behavior that we're experiencing and why that is relevant to us now. And so what I do is a hybrid of those things, is that we'll spend some time on some things, and then we'll, just like you a coach would in any other situation, you go out there and you see how well you do, and you come back and get feedback, and you get to revise, and you get to revamp, and then you get to hone and work on and develop any of those areas where you feel undeveloped, or where the areas that feel challenging in your life. And so that is what I do through my therapeutic coaching, is meeting my clients where they are. I work with clients that experience like hypersensitivities, chronic and complex mental health issues, just as like ADHD and depression and anxiety and those things, and their ability to function in their daily task, and how that is, or how it inhibits them from doing those daily tasks that they need. I also work with youth. Like I said, I have a youth program. I actually like to think of that as a leadership and mentorship program, where I don't necessarily try to implement counseling, but it's just really modeling what they need and really giving them the practical application and experience of what it looks like to be in that development in their lives. And last, I have a parenting support group that I call, it's a sacred circle, and that is called Parenting While Adulting. A lot of us have just parented the best way that we know how. We didn't really necessarily have the examples, culturally, we just had to get it how we live. We just had to figure it out. And there are some things that worked for us culturally, or worked for our parents and grandparents culturally, that don't necessarily serve us right now in our ability to reach and connect with our children. And so it really focuses on those things, that while you're a parent, you're still a person. So how do we parent ourselves so that we can show up and be the parents we need to be for our children?
That is really good. That is really interesting. And it's also interesting that you work with youth that are affected by incarceration. The client I was just with he was telling me about his background and his story. And it's always nice to hear that, past generations may not have had access to certain things. Mental health, it seems like mental health for people of color and addressing trauma it comes up. It can be problematic sometimes in addressing certain things. And I think for more people to understand that you can get help and you can have support and you can get supportive services through therapy, I think more people should know, and they should be able to access mental health services, because during COVID we started family therapy, and I think it was very beneficial. But I also like to tell people, some people say they have gone to therapy and or have a counselor, and it doesn't work, and they don't feel like they're fulfilled from working with that person. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes I just think it might not work because you're not allowing it to work. You're not telling the truth to your therapist or to your counselor. Like, it's not going to work if you can't be truthful and be honest with yourself. Yeah. You have to allow yourself to be vulnerable. Absolutely. And I don't think a lot of people like to be vulnerable, because that opens them up to getting called out on certain ways they might have or certain attitudes that they might carry. But I definitely think it's beneficial, and especially for young people, to understand that it is okay to have conversations about your feelings, or if it is okay to have conversations about your anxiety, or if you're depressed, and not automatically have to go to taking medication for your depression. Now, of course, in your line of work, is that what do you ever run across individuals who have severe depression or severe anxiety, where they have no other option but to take medication, or is what you do kind of like a first step to see, can you just give them tools that they can use personally and individually that can help alleviate any stressors?
So I would say both. I as a healthcare professional, I will not tell a person not to take certain type of medications that they've been prescribed. For one, I think one of the things that make me stand out is I really like to take a stripped down approach. I don't really like the formality, even though like even as I'm sitting here, it's a very laid back environment that I do my best to cultivate for my clients, because as you mentioned earlier, vulnerability is difficult for most who have their survival was um dependent on them being able to hide and mask those feelings because those deep feelings because they were not safe even with people that they love. So for a person to then be be told to, hey, be vulnerable with the most sacred things that you hold so near and dear to you, it's like a threat. Like that's like you threaten my life almost. So, and even though I logically understand that this could be beneficial for me, the experiences that is trapped in my nervous system, that's physically trapped in my body, won't allow me to align with what I logically understand. And so that's okay. I believe in an end all approach. There is no either or. I don't care how many medications you're on, and I don't really care if it's a first step. It's about your challenge, because you said something that was very important. Also, you have to be willing to do this. First and foremost, what I like to do is debunk whatever notions people have about therapists. We are no savior. I am no one's savior. I am not coming in trying to be any of those things. I am a person that has been trained to be able to assess the things that you bring to the table without judgment or without shame, because if I have those things, then I'm not able to help you. And so it is not so. And then let's be even a little bit more honest. I have my own things. I have to be accountable in the same way that I'm telling my clients to be accountable. I have mentors. I have a therapist. I have those things that I'm challenging. That's challenging in my life. That's hard for me to walk with or get past. So if I'm holding my stuff plus holding your stuff, then I'm not going to be functional. So I don't have the capacity to be judgmental or look at you with cynicism. That doesn't allow me to be free as a person, and it does not allow me to be the best mental health professional that I can be. And so what it is, it's just very stripped down. It's really my hope is to be soothing to you, right? To feel this is a breath of fresh air. This is not magic. This is hard work. Right. And so like I like to be very honest, and that's another thing you can expect from me as a therapist. I'm very honest and upfront. And I don't necessarily believe in brutal honesty, because the honesty is brutal enough on its own. If you walk in your truth, that is hard enough. Okay. And so that is really my approach is, hey, where are you? Do you feel, is it hard for you to just put one foot in front of the other? Do you feel so overwhelmed with decisions and responsibility that you can't see your left from your right? Do you feel like you're drowning in plain sight and no one sees you? Is it those feelings where you feel alone? Do you just feel like, are you starting to feel like your life just don't have the value that you want it to be, but you feel like it's something deeper in you? Those are the things I look for. And if you rock with those things and that resonates with you, then we'll be able to do transformative work because you're already agreeing to that.
Yeah, that's good, and that's good to hear that that you have a solid approach to addressing certain issues and debunking a lot of preconceived notions that a lot of individuals have, and it is definitely generational. And we got a few questions, so we're gonna get to the questions at the end. We're gonna say these questions to the end. So y'all, at the end, we're gonna get to these questions because it's questions. But I'm gonna ask one of them. So how is for, since we do work with a lot of obviously entrepreneurs, and you're an entrepreneur yourself, how do you to an entrepreneur explain how therapy could be beneficial for somebody that is in business. Because let me tell you, I've had conversations with individuals, and I'm here, and I'm just here to do the bottom line. I'm here to do site. I'm here to do I'm here to do something specific and hand it to you and get it done. So I've run into issues personally where people will have life issues.
Yeah.
And this is a key to how we've implemented mental health into our. That's why we do the mentors and the coaching and everything, and have therapists. But I've had instances where individuals have started their business or have been in business, and they run up on some roadblock with their family, their husband or their wife, and kind of trauma dump and vent to me. Now, in a professional, as if I was, and I think sometimes people get things a little bit twisted because we are very open and we're very accessible. So for somebody that is in business and is an entrepreneur or has been in business, how would you explain why mental health why mental health support and therapy is beneficial to them? If you get my question.
Well, I believe I do, and I think the way that you explained that shows the reasons why. What we really, especially because it's just to be honest, here in America, and due to this being a capitalistic country, that means profit first, profit before people. And so oftentimes what's happening is that you're getting a bunch of people who really don't care what you're going through. They don't care about your problems. They don't. Where is the check gonna clear? Did you do the service that I paid you to do? And so when people come across people who actually show compassion and they have a bit of a capacity to care about them as a person outside of whatever product or service they're producing, people they want to dump, right? They want to get it out because it feels good to not just say it to a brick wall, or that's what at least it feels like. I'm saying it to a person that's receiving it and seeing me. And so I think that's where a lot and so depending on the service, that's why a lot of this is going to be important. For one, I don't get into the business of trying to convince entrepreneurs of anything. Entrepreneurship is a spiritual journey. It is you bringing to life something that did not exist outside of you until you did it. Even if it exists in the world, it don't necessarily exist the way that you do it, or that the way that you are going to do it. And so that takes a lot of delusional faith. That takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of confidence. It takes a lot of grit to be able to do those things when it's so easy to hang up the cleats and go and get a job and let that just be the end of it. But for you to keep going back and keep going back, even if you don't see the results, and knowing that, hey, I might not see results for years. I might not get the revenue, and it's all those things. So it's so typically when I am then meeting with entrepreneurs, and I do have entrepreneurs as clients because it's very real. It's when it's too heavy to carry now. First weekend, I got it. We're going to go ahead and just muscle it out. But after a while, you get worn down. And so when I have those conversations and as I talk to them about my services, then they're more open. Because if I have to sit in try to sell you on what I do, then that means that you are already coming in apprehensive versus, hey, I'm in a place where I can receive. I'm the person that you need. I come in when you can receive it, right? If I'm speaking to you and I'm telling you what these are the services that I offer, and you're like, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm going through. oh my God, that's it right there. Okay, that might be a telltale sign that this might be exactly what your soul needs. And then, it's just you then having to make the decision that you're going to do that type of investment in yourself. And that is where, it can get caught in the weeds for some of them. But eventually I would say the majority of my clients have some side business, or they are entrepreneurs as well, as far as my individual clients.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people get it they get it misconstrued that you're going to come into business, because I was out, we were in Charlotte today looking at a drone for my client.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to invest in this particular device for his power washing company, and it was interesting to talk to all the different entrepreneurs there, from different age ranges, from different state points in their business, and different stages. So everybody's thinking process was completely. Some people were different. We're thinking differently, and I'm having conversations with people. I'm like, you saying one thing, you saying a whole nother thing. You think this way, and it's interesting when you have people who come into business and think that I'm just going to come into business and I'm going to be Warren Buffett. I'm going to be Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody should want to be, but or Jeff Bezos, or somebody that's just going to be. I'm going to come into this, and it sounds easy, and it sounds like you've got everything, But then you think, oh, where's your support? Where's your team? Do you have a team supporting you? Do you got people that's backing your business up? If something don't work out, you got things in place. How is your funding? Are you good actually just running your business and not working? Those are conversations that when you start at the beginning, it sounds easy. It sounds very easy. And I think a lot of people think that, it's not for the faint of heart, being an entrepreneur and being in business. And it definitely does take a toll. And Ms. Johnson, I will always say, she'll say this, and I think it's a good it's a good representation of how a lot of entrepreneurs might feel. But she'll say, I feel like I'm in a dark room, feeling myself through the room, and you can't see anything, and you just feeling your way through. So you mentioned it. It's that faith walk, and it's delusional faith. To some people, your concept, your idea, your business could be absolutely ridiculous. Like, why are you doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you even need to be in that? Why are you like, why all these questions? But it don't, why. And I don't want to get spiritual, but if the Lord puts something on your spirit, but I'm gonna get spiritual. If the Lord puts something on your spirit and put something in you that nobody else can take away, and it's a part of your purpose and a part of your why, then all them questions, all them I don't understand, all that, just you don't need to understand.
Yeah. No, that's so good. I mean, I can't be, now I don't push spiritual beliefs, but my clients know that I definitely am spiritual.
Yeah.
And that's how I lead my life. And that's even as I gave the introduction to my business, is purpose driven, right? Mm-hmm. And that is because we are all here for a purpose. And so sometimes the stronghold that you feel in your life could be because you're not operating in your purpose. One thing, if I can just be candid, that I find with a lot of my entrepreneurial clients is that not that what the business that they want, that they are doing is a bad business or that it doesn't serve people, but the motivation behind it.
Exactly.
And so you're chasing, and so you're really fighting a wave, and then it's very hard to give up something or change something that you feel so committed to and that you sacrificed so much for, well, then are you doing it for the ego or are you doing it for the purpose? Like, so it's one of those things where it's a you versus you, you know, and so to the point that you're saying, and Miss Evelyn, that's why my prayer is God continue to be a lamp under my feet and just let me see this. We don't need to see the whole picture, because that's not faith.
Exactly.
That's control. And so it's this journey requires you to walk it like you talk it. And not only because of money or whatever those is, but because of the actual fulfillment that you get knowing that you actually did the thing that you set out to do.
Yeah. And it is very, that is like we are and the only reason I'm even talking about that, because as a therapist, of course, you can't push. It's HIPAA codes, and I'm sure there's some HIPAA law that talking about, faith-based, kind of things and protections and stuff for certain faith-based religions or anything like that. But it is a faith walk, regardless of what you believe, who you believe in. Being an entrepreneur, it is a complete faith walk, and it's that faith, that mustard seed faith. You can't do it and not have no type of faith, because it's not going to be successful. And now the pivot also is that social entrepreneurship and social enterprise. Being in business, are you just in business? Like, it's okay to understand if you're just in business to make money. Be clear with that. That's your bottom line. Walk in that. Go out and do that. Because there's some people that's just, I'm here to just make money. It's no other reason. I'm not trying to be helpful to the environment. I'm not trying to be helpful to my community. I just want to make my money. And it's people that function in that space. And it's, if that's how you work, that's how you work. But I think what we see and what we are pushing for, and what what people hear from all of the people that we work with and all of the entrepreneurs that we have had on here, they have a push, and they have something more. They've had some spiritual, or maybe not even necessarily spiritual, but they've had something affect their life that has caused them to want to make a difference through their business. Regardless of what their business is, they've had something. And I think that's important when you really start to dive into how people think, and like you said, how people logically think, how they understand things, all of those things that might have happened to them in one business, in corporate space, and now they just stepped away and they're doing their business. All those things I think play into their psyche and have an effect on how they function. And you, of course, help people bring out those, like I said, you help them use their tools and use their attributes that they have, and kind of sharpen them, and then also address issues that you might have, like how do you combat depression, how do you combat narcissism. Like, those are things that you just have to, and self-sabotaging yourself, how do you combat that? So
it's a journey. Yeah. And it's a journey. It's not a place where we go and we hit some epiphanies and we have some clarity, and we're like, I did it. But this is until we die type of thing. Exactly. Like, there's no not doing this. It's almost like going to the gym or going to your doctor. Like, we're talking about the most important organ, which I would say, your brain, of course, but then also we're talking about the most internal organ that is not really attainable by any man, right? Which is your soul. And how do we get those things aligned? Because that is where a lot of unrest is. So I believe in doing customizable things too. I'm not a cookie cutter approach type of therapist. I like to meet my clients where they are. I want to hear where you struggle, where you need to help, and that is the focus. And we create and cultivate plans around helping you get to the best version of yourself.
Yeah, that is really good. and that is right on par. And I'm happy that we were able to have you on, and to especially talk about the mental health side of things, because a lot of people struggle. It was an athlete who just killed himself. I don't know all the stuff that happened leading up to why, but he killed himself. I had a friend who committed suicide in college, and these are young people my age, and it's just like, man, why are you so young and you do something like that? But like, you could only imagine what's going on through somebody's head, or what they're exposed to, what they're around, that, or what they could be on, that could be causing them to not think clearly. And sometimes it's just, all we can do is just pray for people, and tell them you need to go see therapists, because you need to talk to somebody about the things that are eating you up inside.
Absolutely. And not only therapists, go find healthy community.
Yeah.
People that will stand in the fold with you. Therapist is good, but I'm only available once a week, right? Or every other week. Go find some community that is healthy, that will affirm you and pour into you, in addition to seeing a therapist.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. It takes a village. It definitely takes a village. So I'm gonna get into these questions now, because we got a lot of questions. This seems to be a very good talking point. So we got a lot of questions. So we got one from Betty. She said, "Do you work with parents with children with disabilities, and how do you handle and support the children?"
Yes.
You understand the question, and I think she had a follow-up question. How do you help the parents understand and accept this situation?
Yes. So my master's, my rehabilitation counseling program it was derived from the American Disabilities Act. So that is what it actually focuses on, is to help adolescents and adults that will eventually transition into like the workforce and find vocation and just independent way of living life with their disabilities, whether it's visual, hearing, physical, emotional, mental. And so, yes, I do work with parents with disabilities. Those are, and so the question was, do I work with parents with disability, and how do I help them?
It was do you work with parents with children with disabilities? So
and how do you handle and support the children?
How do you help the parents to understand and accept, I guess, the disability of the child?
Yes. So I would say for the first one, it really kind of depends on what the disability is, right? Depending if it's a physical disability, if there's something where they're on the spectrum, just depending on what the disability is, will be contingent on the way that I'm able to help them, because it might be a team of people there. I might not be the only one in play as far as to help them with that. And typically when I meet that, my contingency when I meet with children, which is why I focus on youth and families, and I have something specific for parents. My contingency is when I meet with children that the parents have to also agree to be a part of that. So it's an individual part of it, but then it's also a family part of it. And so that allows me to not only grow and cultivate a relationship, a therapeutic relationship, and understanding of my youth client and the needs that they feel that they're not able to verbally express or convey to their parents, because sometimes what happens as parents is, because these are our babies, we're so close on it like this, we don't know how to necessarily take a step back so we can see them as a whole, right? And so it's being able to understand what is going on with my young clients and the things they don't feel comfortable or confident to say to their parents, then meet with their parents and understand what those woes are, see where a common ground or miscommunication is, and then we come in and then we do family, just to not only talk about those things, but then put practical steps in place, or just practical practices in place to just start exercising. It's just like, if we can remember, I like to equate it to this. And I know we're all grown on here, but a lot of us have had kids, right? when your kid is learning how to write, right? They holding the pencil like this, and they not really drawing on the stencil right. The letters is big. They're all over the place, right? And so there is not a lot of structure on how they do that. So it takes practice and consistency, and then they get to a place where they can flow. Now we do those things without even thinking about it, but it was a time, it was a struggle for us, right? And so it's just and so that's what this journey is. You're trying to learn how to color within or write within the lines with each other so that you all can kind of have a symmetry with each other. But that is going to take practice, and it's going to take patience, and it's going to take open-mindedness. With my parents, the first few sessions, I'm listening and I'm taking notes. I'm not giving any type of feedback or anything like that, right? I'm not giving any of those things. I'm listening because I need to understand what the heart is of the situation for you as a parent. And so because it is yours to carry. It's not mine, it's yours. And so that's what I do. It takes a lot of patience. And so whenever I get clients, it's just like, hey, you have to agree to at least, you got to stay in it for this long because it's going to get uncomfortable. And that's the thing. You got to be willing to be uncomfortable. You got to be willing to know that you're going to have to work through some triggers. You got to understand that the triggers is also connected to you, not just in your child. So it's really a complicated, or not complicated, but a complex journey. And how I help my parents do that is through the patience and letting and offering that support, because it's not an easy journey whatsoever.
Yeah, I think on the other end of that, and we're gonna get through a few more questions, but that made me have another question. So that so oftentimes when you deal with parents and children, it's generational. It could be a generational. It's obviously a generational difference. Is that oftentimes when you're working with parents and children, do you ever find that sometimes there are certain things that might, like you mentioned earlier, that might have been acceptable for the parent growing up, but is maybe not acceptable for the child now, or vice versa? Just racially speaking, some things that have been acceptable or the way they were back then, but are not the way they are now, and trying to rationalize that thought process. Is that ever conversations that you have?
All the time. So my parents and support program. So here in Oklahoma City, I do intensive workshops, and my parenting support workshop is actually PWA, Parenting While Adulting. And the whole purpose of that is to do that. We can't really talk about, we cannot honor our present and cultivate a healthier future if we do not pay homage to the past. And so the thing about it is what we've been taught, because generationally we have not, this is the first time in just the history of humans really that we have such an open space to be able to talk about things in the way that we talk about them. And so it's not that our parents are bad parents. It was just not it just was not it wasn't something that existed for them in the time that they were there. And so it's still wisdom in those things, but sometimes what we do is that we can romanticize what that looked like, or sometimes maybe it's so painful we don't want to revisit it. Like, nope, that's chained and bolted in the basement and it's going to stay there. But that's where a lot of the richness is. And so you will be able to not only help your child in their development, you also actually help your own evolution. And so to me, talking about those things is what I believe continue to make sure that we could the struggles in the sacrifices of our foremothers and forefathers stay relevant. I'm very big on cultural IQ, social IQ, emotional IQ, and mental IQ. We have to know what those things look like, because if not, it's a term you have to name it to tame it. I like to say you have to name it so we can reclaim it, because those were stories that, because of oppression or outside context, societal context that had nothing to do with us, we have to fortify ourselves to be able to survive our experiences in a way that we don't have to do that now. So in order to meet our children, in order for us to get the best quality of our life, we have to revisit those things with dignity and grace and respect and patience.
I added that on the screen. I thought that was very good. So we got more questions, and I know we're running out on time, but this is very interesting. This is a very good topic. So I'm not really pressed about time right now because we're gonna get through all these questions. So we had, what you were saying reminded me of when a kid brings up something, and a parent is like, "That's how you remember that." And it's like really traumatic it could be really traumatic to me. It's like to the child. They're like, "That's how you remember that?" It's like, yeah, that's how I remember it. And it's like that trauma, like when it's something it's like people block trauma out of their head. But
Absolutely.
But it's funny when you actually had a conversation and you realize it's just the miscommunication. It's just we didn't talk about it, or it didn't or we didn't see it the same way, or something like that. But we have another question. This is from Darnasia. This one is, what patterns are you seeing in your field? I think that's like a research question, kind of. So I think.
Can you be more specific? What do you mean patterns?
I'm gonna let her, if she's still watching. Could we get some specifics to the specific patterns that you might be alluding to there? If I had to guess, I would think maybe in the field of maybe certain patterns along the lines of your clients, if there's certain mental patterns, or maybe something that you've just noticed that some people kind of use the same language or same issues. I think that was along the lines of her question. I don't want to put words in her mouth, but if she's still watching, she could be more specific. But I think that's what she was talking about.
Okay. Patterns. Oh, that's it's such a diverse field. Like, it's being a therapist. I see because the thing about it is that a person may come for these topical reasons, but then there's a lot of different hidden issues once we're able to like kind of open that up a little bit. So I don't, as far as patterns, if I can just assume what I think that means is what are the common type of patterns that I see within the patients. I don't see patients, the clients that I acquire, that I get. I would say a lot. I see a lot of hypervigilance, right? I see a lot. And what that means is, and I actually do a whole series on this, on how depression shows up in Black people, more specifically Black women, because traditionally we've been taught like, oh, depression looks like this, but that's also being able to know like, oh, as we're looking at these studies as humans, while it's helpful to us, culturally it's not as relevant, because due to how we've had to engage with society, our nervous systems have not been able to formulate that type of response. So what does the response look like for us culturally? And hypervigilance is doing it all. And I think this is another thing that we see in entrepreneurs, in single parents, which is why I hold these spaces, is that it was a time when we talk about in the generational part, because it was a time where we thought that if you didn't sacrifice your whole entire life and being for your kids, you was a bad mom. Yeah. If you took some time, or a bad dad, right? If you didn't give every single bleeding thing that you had to the family, you were selfish, right? And so what we then modeled was go, 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 go. And culturally, we still believe you got to work 10 times as hard to have half as much, right? Twice as hard to have half as much. So what that did in my experience is create this hyper vigilance, all or nothing, right? We don't know what tears look like. If it gotta happen, or if it don't, we spiral downward, and then it takes time to get us back up. If I don't get it, in that hypervigilance creates a perfectionist or perfectionism. And so we sometimes don't necessarily we don't know how to not only navigate the goals, the plans, or the journeys before us. We don't know how to do it with genuine, authentic confidence. We can all say a lot. We can all toot our own horns and be performative, but when you close those doors and no one's watching, what's really going on? And so that is the heart of what I see. Mm-hmm. When they come in, it's like, oh, so this is what it is. And then we're able to then drop, we're able to then have those conversations. And the beautiful thing, if there's any magic about any of this, because I don't believe, even going back to spiritual, when God's miracles is not through magic, it's through people. Mm-hmm. And so even the magic is when you allow, because there is something also biological about it. It's not just a spiritual thing. It's not an emotional thing. It's a biological thing. Your body is tense. Your amygdala, which is your emotional control system, your fight or freeze is hijacked, is out of control. You're always hyper stressed. You're tensing your body. You don't know how to relax. You feel a little bit paranoid. You don't necessarily know. Your trust is very low with people, and sometimes even with yourself. So that is all these things that causes the hypervigilance. So even though we might be on the right track, that's where the distortion comes in, because our nervous system can't actually. The nervous system is not allowing your brain to be relaxed, where you can then use the logical part of your brain to see what it is out versus seeing it through a traumatic response, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think that was she didn't say anything back, so I'm assuming that answered her question.
I hope so. If not, sorry.
It definitely answered it for me. So I don't know. But we got a few more, and it is 8, so I want to kind of get through these ones.
Okay.
So this is the next one. She asked another one. She kind of asked. She said, "What keeps you motivated, and what is your opinion on the hustle culture on our mental health?"
What keeps me motivated is knowing that I've tried to walk away from this several times. I'm going to be very transparent. I stopped seeing their clients for a while, and I tried to walk away for a while. And I'm like, I'm just going to do this. Let me just get into this kind of routine where I don't have to. But it was something that God continues to pull and compels me, which lets me know that I'm operating outside of myself. And so that's the motivation, is knowing that I'm not doing it because this is what I would pick for myself. This is me walking in my purpose. And I believe on the other side of the blessing is a burden. And so whenever I feel burden, I have to then remember the blessing that God called me to be. As far as it says, what's my opinion on social media and hustle culture on our mental health? Hustle culture is a part of the propaganda. Like, who's telling you? For one, social media, and I know several people like this, right? They have a social media persona that is not the actual real life that they're living. And so what we have to realize about social media is that it is smoke and mirrors. That is an artificial connection.
It's not real.
It is an artificial connection. Social media is a tool, period. It is a tool. It is good for connection with families and friends when y'all all over the place, and to keep you connected. My father is Nigerian, and I now am able to. I have a sister that's in the UK. I have a sibling that's in Nigeria. I have some that's in California. And in a simple video call, will allow me to stay connected. So it's some beautiful things out that comes from social media, but it is a tool. In the moment that we start trying to equate it with a human experience is when we start getting ourselves in trouble, because that those two things cannot even coexist. So when we see the hustle culture propaganda, understand also when we talk about systemic oppressive tools, this is also an advanced way of doing that, because we're so open and vulnerable to the information that we're receiving. It's like, you can sleep when you die. Oh no, that's not, no. Or you can break your body down and you can then start developing ailments that you wouldn't have otherwise, right? So I think it's knowing, like, get into community that's saying the things that feels great to your nervous system. Hustle culture, that's when we didn't have a choice, right? We talking about our forefathers. That's another thing we have to evolve. For us, it is, how do we be good to ourselves so that we can be the revolutionary act that our foremothers and forefathers did not have the opportunity to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is another, I think this was the last question.
Okay.
She said, as a therapist, how do you protect your peace and mental health? I think that's a good question.
That was good. So for one, I stayed connected with God. I will say it was a time where I was doing this out of my own ambition. And that's when I found myself spiraling the most. And I had to do one thing about me as a therapist, because as some therapists, let's keep it real, they intellectually and academically understand. I'm a person that, while I have that knowledge too, is that I don't like to advise things that I don't have a practical understanding on, and so I guess what I mean by that is that I had to then I had to ask myself a lot of the questions that I ask my clients. I have to go to therapists. I have to go sit on the couch. I got to do all those things. And so I'm like, why am I doing this? What is the purpose of me doing this? And for me, it is so that God can be proud of me. Right. And so that, because if he's proud of me, then no matter how this turned out, I'm going to be good. And so that's what it was. When I did it for money, when I did it for other things that did not bring me happiness, and it actually, in fact, it impacted my ability to find peace. But I spend a lot of time in nature. I'm a very outdoorsy girl. I travel. I spend time with family. I laugh a lot and I dance. Okay. And I stay engaged in the things that makes me feel good, community that pours into me, that allows me to connect with my authentic self.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really good, because a lot of people don't have those healthy outlets, and I think it's good for people to find outlets that are healthy as opposed to finding unhealthy habits and outlets.
And thank you for saying that. I went and found this. It wasn't something that I automatically had. I had to find all of these different communities. So I don't mean to cut you off, but that's important, because it's like, well, I don't have that. Okay. But you got to get yourself out your comfort zone and go find those communities, because they are out there. Even online, they're out there.
Yeah. So, all right, Miss Shay, we are at 8:09, and we're gonna wrap it up. A lot of people were on and tuning in. And if you want to send it out or share it out, it is posted on our YouTube page and our Facebook page, so you can share it out, and it'll be there forever and ever. And if you want to send it out to any of your people or anybody for marketing, please, by all means. I'll send. I have snippets of it too. I'll chop it up and we'll post it on our social media throughout the week. So this was really good, and so. We have her website, Impact to Imprint, and I'm going to share it because I started the website. But the thing is, I love when I start websites and my clients go and play with them and do it, because I went back today and I noticed you changed stuff. I said, I didn't do that. I did this, but I didn't do that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, good. So I'm
like start playing a little bit.
I know, right? But that's what we do. Like that's what we do. So here's her site. You can go visit her at impacttoimprint.com. You can she has a blog. See, I didn't have that on there. Here she go right here. She had a blog, and events going on and posts. So please go to her website and book your consultation. She has wonderful reviews from her clients. Visit her on her Facebook and her Instagram. You can go to her and learn about her, more about Shay and her company. You can learn about the services that she has. So don't hesitate to go visit her at impacttoimprint.com. Let me
And my email is hello@impacttoimprint.com. So if you have any additional follow-up questions that you would like, just hit me up directly and I will definitely get back to you. Thank you so much, Christian, Mrs. Evelyn, Charnay, Mr. Johnson earlier. You know, he was holding me down. I really appreciate the space and the platform for me to be able to talk about not only my service, but something that I hold very dear and near to me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being on. And like she said, here's her website, or her email, hello@impactimprint.com. If you all want to contact us for any services, you can email Ms. Johnson at info@inthebeginningcode.com. Or if you want to give us a call at 804-468-8141, please don't hesitate. And you can visit us at inthebeginningcode.com and book a consultation. And also, we do have a Kiva loan information session this Thursday at our space. We're going to set it up so that it can be hybrid. So if you register and you can't make it, you have to register for me to send you the Zoom, though. So if you register on our website, I'll send you the Zoom link and you'll have access to the Kiva information session. That is a crowdfunding loan opportunity for businesses. So if you're interested in that, please let us know. And you can visit us and see our other events that we have coming up at inthebeginningcode.com. So thank you all for joining. Miss Shay, I really appreciate you for joining us tonight. I love this. I wish we would be able to see you next week, but we'll be here. You'll be there, but you'll be able to meet some of our team. It's not just us. So that's wonderful. And you're going to meet with Miss Otessa, so that is good. And so thank you all again for joining. You all be safe, and please join us next Tuesday. We'll have another one of our partners on. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for today's In the Beginning Incubator webinar. We hope you found inspiration, valuable insights, and practical strategies to apply to your own entrepreneurial journey. But the learning doesn't stop here. We invite you to join us again next Tuesday for another powerful session where we'll continue to spotlight incredible entrepreneurs and share knowledge that can help take your business to the next level. If you enjoyed today's webinar and found it valuable, don't keep it to yourself. Spread the word. Let others know what you learned and invite a friend, colleague, or fellow entrepreneur to join us next Tuesday. Once again, we appreciate you for being part of the In the Beginning Incubator community. Keep striving, keep growing, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you for